Okay. I didn't expect you to do that. Okay, say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, so today is Julia's birthday. Woo! And we are on our way to do our yearly ritual for her birthday. Today, you guys are going to learn all about her birth, which was a crazy story. So I got everybody here to tell their accounts of what happened on that day. And there's Julia. Say hi, Jelly.
Banana.
She's all dressed, well, she's half dressed up. So from my point of view, at the time, Brandon was working night shift. And I was at home at night with the kids. Okay, so Brandon was still at work. He was on night shift. So probably about on this day, so the day before, I actually begged my doctor to take her because I was exhausted. I was in so much pain. I just couldn't take it anymore. She was like, no. So I went to the doctor on a Wednesday, and I think I was dilated 1.5, maybe 2. Okay. So she was like, oh, just give it a few more days. I'm sure we'll have a baby by this weekend or something. I was like, okay. So I went home. Later that night, I started cramping really bad. I want to say, because that appointment was in the morning. So I want to say probably about, what time I text you? Probably about 9 o'clock. Maybe about 7, between 7 and 9. I text Brandon. I was like, I think I'm having some contractions. Now, mind you, this is my 4th child. So I'm well aware of what contractions feel like. And you know, they say the more kids that you have, the faster they come. So I was kind of scared. So he was like, okay, just let me know. Well, they eased up. So instead of them being like, I think at the time they were maybe every 20 minutes or so, they started being like every 30 minutes. So they got, you know, they kind of stopped basically. So I went to sleep, woke up probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was having some more contractions. They was kind of frequent, but they wasn't like the same time frame. They wasn't as frequent as they were early in the day. So I texted Brad. I was like, I just want you to know I'm up in pain right now. You know, I didn't think I was in labor, but I wasn't sure. So I didn't want to play no games because we live. How far is we live like 35 minutes from the hospital, and so I didn't want no problems. It was a Thursday. It was a Thursday, early morning, and if you know the traffic where we are is terrible. So Brandon got off at 6 o'clock, and I was like, okay, well, let's just go to triage when we're gonna take the kids to school, and we'll go to triage. Now, Javen was not in school at the time, so he was with us the entire time, and so and this was pre-COVID and things like that, so there was no restrictions or anything on visitors at the hospital or anything like that. So 6 o'clock came. Brandon came home from work. The kids was getting up. We was getting everybody ready for school. Took everybody to school, and then from there we headed to the hospital for triage. Got to the hospital about 9 o'clock. About 9 o'clock, because Brandon had just got out from work, so he wanted to take a shower. And well, no, you don't even take a shower, you just change clothes. So Brandon just changed clothes, took all his dirty work clothes off, and you know, and we left. We took our hospital bag and everything. We just left because we didn't know. Because they were, you know, I was in some pain, but it wasn't, you know, I have a high tolerance for pain, so it didn't really I guess bother me as much. So we get to the hospital, they triage me, they keep me on the monitor for about an hour and a half, I think, and decided that I wasn't in labor. So I'm gonna insert this real quick because I knew when we got there that it wasn't gonna go right. So we got there, and the male doctor, every time I go to triage, there's always a female doctor in the labor and delivery. Now I don't have anything against male doctors, but I knew from the time I walked in the door, and he said, well, I know you're not in labor because I can see how you're acting. And I'm sitting here like, well, what am I supposed to act like? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is how I am. You know, I'm calm. I'm not yelling and doing all that mess that you see in movies because I feel like it's pointless. So I knew that there was going to be an issue then. So he kept me on the monitor for about an hour and a half and was like, okay, well, I don't think you're in labor, so I'm going to send you home. Y'all, as soon as he took me off that monitor, my contractions was like this. I would say they was every 3 minutes or so, like that. It wasn't letting up. So I begged them to put me back on the monitor just for 30 minutes to monitor me before I went all the way back home because it was a long drive. They wouldn't do it. The nurse at the station, at the nurse's station, she was like, just go walk around the park. And I was like, no, I can't do that. My husband's been at work all night. He's tired. We can't do that. I said, you know, I think we sat there for about 20 minutes trying to get them to keep me. They wouldn't do it. So Brandon was like, okay, come on. So we went home and we was like, we'll go home and take a nap and then we'll come back. I said, okay. Got home, Brandon took a shower. We got into bed and laid down. Javen was asleep. So we got into bed and laid down. As soon as I put my head on that pillow, I said, oh, we gotta go now. Like, I felt everything. It was like, okay, we gotta go. By this time, JaVale was almost about to get out of school. And JaVale wanted to be there. So I was there. Huh? I was there. Okay, well, hold on. So she always kept saying she wanted to be there for the birth because everybody knew this was the last child, wasn't gonna be no more. And JaVale wanted to be there for her little sister. Okay. So I was like, Brandon, we gotta go. So he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, come on, we gotta go. So we popped back up and he called the school because my contractions was just like, as soon as I laid down, it was like, nope, you better not go to sleep. So Brandon called the school and said, I need my daughter in the office because normally you're supposed to, you know, go in, show your ID, and then they call the child. But we didn't have time for that. So Brandon called the school and was like, I need my daughter in the office right now. I'm on my way. My wife is in labor and we got to go to the hospital. But we didn't have anybody to pick her up from school, so she had to come. She had to come. So we rushing down the interstate. Well, I don't want to say we rushing because Mr. right here was driving below the speed limit. Yes, you were. Then we saw a police officer, and he slowed down even more. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Because we was gonna have the baby in the car." And I said, "You better go." He's like, "But the police is right here." I said, "I don't care. I don't care." JaVale, am I right? What? About the daddy driving slow on the interstate?
Oh yeah. He's taking his sweet time.
Right, he's taking his sweet time, and the interstate that we were on was bumpy. They were doing construction, so it was bumps everywhere. And I know that did not help the situation because every bump he hit, it hurt more. And I planned on doing a natural birth. I did a natural birth with everybody except for him. So everybody else was natural. I didn't have no medicine. I did have medicine after I delivered JaVale because my placenta was in pieces and I had to go in to get it. So other than that, I don't do medicine. And so that wasn't the issue for me trying to get to have a epidural. I didn't care about that. I just didn't want to give birth in the car on the interstate on the side of the road. So, and I think we had just got the new truck. Okay, I don't know. But we had just got a new truck or whatever. But so we driving down the road slow. By the time we got to the hospital, I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of the car. I tried to put my leg down, and because we were in a higher car, I couldn't reach the ground. And Brandon was looking at me like, "You gonna get out? You gonna get out?" And I was like, "No, I can't." I couldn't get out. And so so he got out and went and got the nurse, because mind y'all, I had just left the hospital. So he went and got the nurse, one of the nurses, and that doctor, the male doctor, was like, "Oh, it's you again. I didn't think you would be back this soon." When I tell you I was so mad, I was mad. I was so mad. My doctor, my OB was mad. She was very upset because what they told me was, well, we called your doctor and she said to just send you home. She said they didn't call her. They did not talk to her because she said she would have told them to keep me, but they didn't call her. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they talked to a different doctor in her office, but they didn't talk to her. So then, what happened next? So I go in triage. They wheel me in there. Brandon's parking the car, getting Javea. Well, Javea came in with me, and Brandon brought Javen. He went parked and came in with Javen. And what did they tell you, Javea?
Okay. They just told us to, know the little place with the little table. It was like the back of the boat to sit.
Okay.
They told me to sit in there.
So they made Javea wait in the waiting area. I think, how old were you at the time? 12?
Yeah.
Javea was 12. And so, which, remember that, 12, okay? So Javea was 12 at the time, so I'm assuming because she was younger that they weren't going to allow her to stay in there. They weren't going to allow her to be in there while they assessed me. Now, she was able to be in the delivery room with us, but they weren't going to allow her to be in there while they assessed the situation. So I go in there, they ripping my clothes off, and I'm in pain. Like, contractions at this point are not letting up, like, at all. They are just constant. You know, I don't know, when you have a baby, your contractions, you know, they say go to the hospital when they 2 minutes apart. Well, eventually they become no minutes apart. And that means it's time. Okay, the baby is about to come. At this point, my water had not broken or anything like that. It was just the constant pain in my pelvis and in my back. And so they checked me. I was a 7. I was at a 7. So they rushing me up to labor and delivery. So as they're rushing me out, Brandon's sitting in the waiting room with Jalea, the waiting area with Jalea, with Javen. And as they're rushing me out to go up to labor and delivery, my water broke. And somebody said, wait, back up. And we were like, and they was like, okay. So they wheeled me back into the triage room. And somebody said, well, maybe we should get some gloves. It was the doctor, the male doctor that said that. So they were like, no, go. And so, like, my water had broke as they were wheeling me down the hallway, okay? Well, they were wheeling me out the door, out the triage door to go up to the elevator, to labor and delivery. Well, we get on the elevator. This is my accounts, is what I remember. The nurse, her hair is flying in the wind because they're running, okay? I look at everything in slow motion when things are happening. I don't know why. But the nurse, her hair, she had blonde hair, and it was flowing in the wind, just like, okay. And I'm telling you, I said this is what I see when I'm on the bed, okay? This is what I saw. The nurse's hair was flowing, okay? She had, okay? And I remember when we got to the elevators, there was another nurse, like, I guess she was on like a little lunch break, because at this point it was like, what, 3:30 or something like that? Maybe, yeah. It was like 3:15, something like that. And there was a nurse sitting there with her lunch, with her little snacks, waiting on the elevator. And then she saw us coming, and they was like, move. And she started tapping on the button real fast, trying to get the elevator to come. The elevator door opened, and it was people on there, like people, was it people on there? It was people, like hospital workers? Yeah. It was like hospital workers on there, and they rushed off so I can get on. And I told them, I was like, y'all, she about to come. And it was like, no, just hold on, don't push. And I was like, I promise I'm not pushing, but she's about to come. Like, I'm telling them, she's about to come out. And they don't believe me. They do not believe me. And I was like, and by the time the elevator door shut, I feel like that's when it happened. I was like, well, she's out now. And they're like, no, she's not. You're just feeling pressure. I was like, no, she's on this bed. I said, y'all better lift these blankets up and look. And soon enough, they opened when the elevator door opened, they looked under the blanket, and Jalea was laying right there in between my legs. And they was like, oh, we got a baby. And I was like, well, I told y'all. I guess they felt like I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't push Jalea out. I didn't push Javea out. They both, oh, look at Javen. They both pushed themselves out. And so Javea, from the back of the elevator, so we rolled off the elevator. we rolled off the elevator, right? Javion, where were you, Javion?
Javion was
Wait,
there.
is it my turn or like?
Oh my gosh, Javion was at.
It's based on my location.
Okay, Javion was still at school because he had a bowling tournament. Wasn't it a bowling tournament?
Yes.
So he had a bowling tournament, and so
And I had bowling tryouts that day.
Okay, and Javea had bowling trials that day. I'm so sorry. Blame your sister. So anyway, so okay, Javea. So we roll off the elevator, and where did you think when I told them that the baby had came out?
After you said she was laying on the table, I was like, if y'all don't look under this, because like they really just did not believe you.
They didn't
And I was
believe
like,
me.
how you not gonna believe?
Okay, what was your reaction, Brandon?
I was just living in the moment, so I was like, is she there? Is she not?
So the whole time when I'm telling them that this baby is on the bed, she's not crying. She didn't make a noise or anything. So I guess that's why they didn't believe me. I don't know. But yeah, she wasn't crying or making any noise or movement. It was almost like she just flipped out and was like, oh, I'm tired. That was rough. It sounded like she was real calm, huh?
I said she was a little lost.
Yeah. And so when they saw her on the table, they picked her up and laid her on my chest and wrapped the blanket over her. So we rushing down to the labor. Well, I don't think we was rushing at this point, but we going down to the labor and delivery room that they were taking me to. They continue going, and y'all, this is what I saw. Okay, my accounts. So of course that we passing other patients' rooms that's already delivered or in the process of delivering, and to me the lights were kind of dim. Was the lights dim?
Yeah.
On the hallway?
Yeah, there really wasn't no big windows on that.
Okay, so
on that hallway, so I don't think they had all the lights on. I don't know.
okay, so all the lights were dim on the hallway. And so what I saw was, so we was passing patients' rooms. So I'm on the bed, Julia's on my chest, and we're passing the room. So on the left, a door opened. First of all, okay, so I knew it was a mess because I kept hearing them say, watch your step, don't step on that, don't step on that, watch your step, watch where you're walking, and I knew, I didn't really know the extent of it. I still don't because I didn't see it, but then again, when I move beds, I kind of understand now. But apparently there was stuff everywhere, like for me having Julia. What'd you say?
It wasn't everywhere. It was like a trail.
Stop, Jaden.
It was like a trail about that thick on the floor.
Thick?
Not like thick, but like wide.
Oh, okay, a trail of what?
How wide would you say?
Like this. It was like
So, all of like the juices that come out when you have a baby was going down the hallway with us, basically. It was a trail of all that coming out and just in the floor. So this lady came out of the room, one of the rooms to the left of us, and I looked over and all I saw, she was like this. Like she was in fear, in horror, like disgusted, basically. And so,
She was shocked. I don't know. She was disgusted.
well, that face she made was like, oh my God, this is gross.
just, oh my gosh.
There's blood everywhere.
And so I didn't really know the full extent of how messy it was, because all my other kids, I delivered them in a controlled environment. There was no chaos. There was none of this. Like, I was always in the hospital. The boys I pushed out, the girls I did not. But you know, we were all in the hospital with the other kids, like in the room, and you know, they weren't expecting Javea to come either. But so when we got to the room, my doctor was there, and she was so mad, y'all, because she has never delivered any of my kids. Jaden, sit back. She's never made it to any of the deliveries. Okay, so I forgot where I left off, but we get in the room and my doctor was mad. She said that they called her and told her that I was there, but they told her that I was still down in triage when in reality I was not. So she was pretty upset, and she was kind of like, well, that's what they get. She was mad. And so, yeah, so Javea came in the room and just started crying because they made Javea, my mom had got there at that time, and they made Javea go stand over somewhere. Where did they tell you to go?
And she went out in the hallway.
Yeah,
You
I
saw-
found this hallway on this little blue.
Okay, so mom was there. She had just made it there because she was trying to make it, because we called her when we left the house and told her that it's time. And so Javea went and sat on the rolly chair. So when my mom came up, she saw Javea sitting over there by herself, and so she went and stood with her and told her to come on in this room, because she wasn't going to be standing out there like that. And so they all came into the labor and delivery room. Javea walked in and just broke down in tears. Cause why was you crying, Vea?
I don't know. I didn't see her at first, and when I saw her, I don't know.
You were so happy.
Actually, no, I did not.
She was so
push her,
happy.
Jaden.
So,
Julia.
the number 12, guys. Okay, so the boys are 12 years apart and the girls are 12 years apart. My dad died December 12th, which is Julia's birthday. 2015. So she was born on the fifth year anniversary of his death. So every year we are, so starting last year, which is when she turned 1, and we're actually pulling in now. We go visit the gravesite, take some pictures.
2014.
Yes, it was 2014. I'm sorry. Javen was born in 2015. So every year we go to the cemetery to take pictures with my dad's grave, and we go to the hospital and take pictures on the elevator where Julia was born.
Remember the exact number?
What do you mean?
Like, do y'all go to the exact elevator?
It was only 2 options, Vale. You don't remember?
No. How am I supposed to? You know what?
That was I think that would have been something you would remember.
No.
Okay, so we're at the cemetery, at the veteran cemetery now, to go to my dad's grave site. Some pictures this year. Isn't it so pretty and white? And just,
People are dead.
Bea, don't say that. We know, but I'm just saying it's uniformed, is what I'm saying. So my dad would, and when I say he was a veteran for 2 weeks. But he got all the benefits.
Caution, unpaved road.
So I said a veteran. He wasn't a veteran for 2 weeks. He was in the Marines for 2 weeks.
No, it was only better.
Anywho, so we are almost there, and we're gonna take some pictures, and I'll show you all the pictures that we take. So we got this balloon. We always get a balloon of how old Julia is, but I didn't get a chance to put any helium in the balloon. Ain't it?
It's right here.
Is it not right there? It's not. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. I didn't get to put any helium in the balloon, so we just blew it up. So it's not gonna be floaty float. But yeah, so that's the story of Julia's birth. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to hear more stories like that, and to see some more content from pretty much basically just me. They'll pop in every now and then, I guess. But it'll be more me of Javen,
And
more of me, Javen, and Julia, and then
hot dogs.
you'll catch them when you see them.